Is it possible for Dennis Cyplenkov to make a comeback? Around 1.5 months back, there was this practice pull between Schoolboy and Dennis. In that video from Armwrestling TV, we saw that Schoolboy could not pin Dennis for a single time as long as Dennis was putting in serious effort. You can watch the whole video in the Armwrestling TV channel by Alex Toproll. We need to understand one thing very clearly here. Dennis is nowhere near his top. In fact, he is nowhere near even the form he had during his recent or last match. That match was against Devin Lerat. We all know in that match, Dennis could not put up a decent fight. The fact is, there is a massive difference between the Dennis before his debilitating illness and the current Dennis, whether it is in terms of physical strength, endurance, or muscle size. It is like comparing two different arm wrestlers. Yes, that is the amount of loss of physical capabilities that Dennis has undergone. Now, as he has himself admitted, he cannot train more than 2 times a week. And we have all seen that he was unable to add muscle mass to his body. He could not go beyond the 125 to 128 kilo body weight despite trying his best. And that is not Dennis's natural body weight. He used to be always between 139 to 144 kilos when he used to be in his prime or peak shape. Despite all the shortcomings, Dennis can put up a decent fight against most elite arm wrestlers. However, that will not be good enough to fight against people like Devin, Erms, Lalatin, Jerry Cataret, leave aside Levan. If you compare Dennis's recent photos and videos with his peak form, you will easily understand these are completely two different people at 2 different levels. So what is the main thing that ails Dennis? Is it age? Of course not. He's only 41. At 41, we see top arm wrestlers compete at top form. It is not an advanced age for the sport of arm wrestling. So what ails him? That is still a mystery to everybody. People speculate on this issue. Some say after the illness, Dennis cannot juice up like he used to or like other arm wrestlers do. Maybe doctors have warned him against it. Or it could be his hip injury is the main reason behind his inability to get back anywhere near his former shape. He did mention he has a huge hip issue. He had said he was trying medication and physiotherapy. However, just prior to the match against Ermes Gasparini, from which he pulled out, he said that his hip could not be cured by medication and physiotherapy, and he will have to go in for the surgical process. Surprisingly, at least 4 months have passed since his announcement, and he has not gone in for any surgery. Nor has anything been disclosed about it in the True Power channel, where Dennis's videos are uploaded by his friend Babkin. We do see Dennis sporadically in certain events or in stray videos, where he is working out or maybe arm wrestling casually. The change in Dennis is so startling to the eyes. I mean, you can see he looks like an ordinarily built arm wrestler, albeit a heavyweight now. Gone is his superimposing, massive, broad, Hulk-like frame. It's kinda saddening to see Dennis in this shape. It is not that he is looking weak or small by any standards, but compared to his former self, even his much toned-down shape during the match with Devin Lerat, he is much smaller when compared even to his not-so-recent past. Let us hope we hear some good news from Dennis or his coach and friend, Babkin. 41 is too early in age to retire from arm wrestling. The arm wrestling world needs a phenomenon like Dennis. Let us all pray for his comeback. If the hip of Dennis actually heals or even gets significantly better than what it is at this point of time, and if it is really only the hip issue that is holding him back from serious training and a proper comeback, we can certainly hope and look forward to a much stronger Dennis in the future, maybe 5 to 7 months from now. There have been numerous instances of elite athletes making a comeback successfully after a hip procedure. So let us hope and pray for a Dennis who will be at least 80% of his former self. Though one has to discuss the elephant in the room also. Can Dennis juice like he used to before? In today's arm wrestling scenario, if one does not juice sufficiently, it is almost impossible to keep up with the competition. It is common knowledge. And if the previous ailment has put some medical restrictions on Dennis as to how much he can juice, it might pose as a serious problem. Without juicing, diet and workout and table practice is not good enough to keep up with the competition of today's international arm wrestling.